Call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone here this evening. And get straight to business. First, I will ask if Beverly would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, we have approval of the agenda.
I'd like to pull Ordinance 2020-44 out of consent, please.
Which one?
The
Point.
budget amendment for appropriating funds
I'm sorry.
for police and fire.
What number?
2A.
Yeah, 2A.
Financial report?
No, the budget amendment for appropriating funds for police and fire off-duty. 2020
44.
2024. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing. So.
Oh, well, I can remedy that.
We're okay. All right, we will put that under new business A2. Anything else? Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion made, second. All in favor?
Aye.
And motion carries. I jumped over public comment. I don't think we had anybody. Old business, UDO amendments. Joe, are you going to handle that?
Sorry, musical chairs. Recognize Michael Clark.
Oh, I didn't know he was back there.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. It's good to see everybody again. Tonight is the conclusion of the first quarter text amendments, which you heard at the February 10th joint public hearing. They were commonly known at that time as quarterly amendments 2020-01. However, for tonight's purposes, we're really going to break this into three segments, being that each of the different text amendments have their own character and deserve their own discussion. Additionally, if you desire to approve these, they'll have their own ordinances. The first of which is the modification to the Board of Adjustment. Essentially, this would amend section 10.2.2 of the Unified Development Ordinance, 10.4.1 of the Unified Development Ordinance, and it grants the Planning Board the authorization to act as the Board of Adjustment. As I had previously indicated, this is something that's done in one of the other Wake County communities as a method to improve efficiency. Additionally, with our new Unified Development Ordinance, there really shouldn't be the need for the Board of Adjustment to meet as frequently. Therefore, that board may get out of practice, out of routine, unless they're called in for continuous training throughout the year. Therefore, staff does recommend adoption of these ordinances. The Planning Board, after deliberation, did move to recommend approval at the February 10th, 2020 meeting. And if the board is so inclined, the motion on the screen may be used, which does include the consistency statement as required in accordance with state statute. And I'm available if you have any questions regarding this, of the first of the three text amendments.
Question? Comments? Okay. What's your
I
pleasure?
think I expressed myself back in February where I thought it was a conflict. The two boards act as a check and balance, so I'm still in favor of having two separate boards.
Okay. All right. If you want to change it, we need a motion. If you don't, we don't need a motion.
I hereby make a motion to approve ordinance 2020-47 to adopt the proposed text amendments to 10.2.2 and 10.4.1B of the UDO is presented at the February 10th, 2020 joint public hearing, finding that the proposed requests are consistent with a comprehensive master plan and the goal statements of the 2030 strategic plan as adopted by the town of Zebulon.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Other comments? Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? And the motion is denied. All right. Ordinance 2020-48.
We'll ask that everybody speak into their mics since this is being live streamed. Beverly, I was having a very hard time hearing you, so if you'd speak.
I'm
into your
sorry.
mic.
The second of the text amendments tonight regarding window signage. Specifically, this would be a text amendment to section 5.11.9, which is a table in the Unified Development Ordinance. It creates an additional footnote. Currently, the window signage is limited to 25% of the window. One important thing to state is the proposed amendment does not change the total amount of signage that potential building can have. It doesn't make it any stricter. What it does is actually frees up the flexibility to allow for that square footage to be congregated onto a single window or a couple windows if it's not on other windows. To illustrate the point, let's say that this is a typical building in downtown. Currently, the regulations would allow for 25% of each of these windows, and these are scaled out based on the square footage of each of these windows. However, right now, this is the most that they could put on each of these windows. Let's say these back windows are into, let's say, a storage area, or they're up tall enough that they really don't meet the intended purpose. However, they're limited on the amount of signage that they can place on these windows. The proposed text amendment, however, in lieu of putting signage on the main windows, which is more of their display type windows, it allows for that square footage to be allocated to these windows instead. As I noted previously, it does not change the calculations, it just changes the allocation on where that signage can be, creating greater flexibility for the business community, as well as better usage of our windows in downtown by freeing up signage on the display windows where we want to see into the building and allowing that allocation to be on other underutilized windows. The planning board did hear this at their February 10th meeting and also recommended approval of this text amendment. And the motion on the screen is available for you to use, and it does include the consistency statement.
So if we go back to your picture, could you, we're assuming that that second floor does not belong to the business.
That is correct.
Okay, all right.
Okay?
Can you scroll forward to the consistency statement?
Oops.
All right, then I hereby make a motion to approve Ordinance 2020-48 to adopt the proposed text amendments to Table 5.11.9 of the UDO as presented at the February 10th, 2020 joint public hearing, finding that the proposed requests are consistent with the comprehensive master plan and the goal statements of the 2030 strategic plan as adopted by the town of Zebulon.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Other comments or discussion? All in favor? And the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, 2020-49.
The final of the text amendments being presented tonight is in regards to detached accessory structures. Currently, our UDO is essentially silent on how these should be regulated in the context. There are stipulations that would apply to all structures, including the primary structure, but does not specify anything for accessory structures. This would create a section 4.4.7H of the Unified Development Ordinance, and it will allow for structures to be up to 35% of the usable square footage of the dwelling. This does have a scaled increase for lots over 2 acres, So by the time you get to 10 acres, there's no limitations, which is more of your agricultural type uses to allow for pole barns and other storage buildings for those type of uses. Most of the industry standards for a lot of the communities within Wake County range between 25 to 35%. We felt that 35% would best address the characteristic of Zebulon. And to further illustrate this point, this is essentially the two options. The structure on the right up here is what would be currently allowed under the existing Unified Development Ordinance. This structure does meet all the applicable zoning requirements in terms of lot coverage and setback, but it allows for a 6,600 square foot pole building that's 3 stories tall, 35 feet to the air, to be in the backyard of a 2,000 square foot single-story residential structure within an R2 zoning district. The proposed language would be representative of the picture on the left, which would allow for a 26 by 26 detached garage. In both cases, the structure is located 10 feet from the property, or 10 feet from the building, and the outside corners in both of those are essentially the same distance. The photo below kind of just gives a different perspective of essentially what this regulation would do. And I'm available if you have any questions on this one as well.
Well, once again, I'd like to ask, this is just 35% of the total square footage of the primary structure, and it doesn't take into account the footprint. So if the footprint of the initial building is 35% and you have a 2-story primary structure, you are still confined to that 35% of the total and not to the footprint, correct?
That is correct. So if this structure here was 2 stories, let's say it was a 4,000 square foot dwelling unit, you could have over a 50 by 50 structure on the back or behind this building.
But are you,
It would be 2 stories tall.
it can be 2 stories tall. I still think that does this meet what we talked about before, do you think?
Well, another point of clarification, as soon as that structure, the accessory structure, is attached to the home, even by a walkway, it's no longer standalone, it's considered part of the house, isn't that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
By a covered walkway, or is it just a walkway?
It would have to be structurally attached to the framing members of each of the structures. So it could be a covered, but does not necessarily have to be an enclosed.
Right.
And it was that way under the old ordinance long before this UDO. In fact,
That's
I believe it was even more restrictive.
That's correct. The previous zoning ordinance actually capped it at 25% of the usable square footage.
Right.
But we did look through the community and realized that there's likely several non-conforming structures where the detached accessory structure was exceeding the 25% maximum.
Right. Now, the 35%, is that the footprint of the new building or the floor space?
That is the total usable floor space.
So if it was 2 stories, they would have to pare it down to a more slender building?
Actually, if it was 2 stories, that increases the amount of square footage that would be allocated. So let's say this building here was 2 stories, which would be 4,000 square feet. You could have almost a 50 by 50 2-story pole barn in the back.
Yeah, that, I wasn't talking about the main structure, I was talking about the accessory structure.
It's the footprint of the accessory structure.
Okay. All right, thank you.
It's not the total square footage, it's the footprint.
That's
Okay.
correct.
And it cannot exceed the height of the house.
That is correct, as proposed.
Okay, other questions?
Yeah. So the footprint, if it's 1,000 square feet, but it's a 2-story house, you can have essentially a 700 square foot 2-story accessory.
It's a 1,000 square feet house that's 2 stories, so 500 for each floor.
Yes, 500 for each Each floor, and you wanted to have a 2-story accessory structure.
That's correct. If the footprint was 350 square feet and it was 2 stories, that would meet the proposed regulations.
So it would be 350 square feet on each floor.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Other questions? All right. What's your pleasure?
Here. The planning board did recommend approval of this proposed ordinance on the February 10th meeting, and the motion on the screen may be used, and it does, as always, include the consistency statement as required by state statute.
Don't all of you speak up at once?
I hereby make a motion to approve ordinance 2020-49 to adopt the proposed text and amendment to 4.4.7 .8 of the UDL as presented in the February 10th, 2020 joint public hearing. Findings that proposed requests are consistent with the comprehensive master plan and the goal statements of the 2030 strategic plan as adopted by the town of Zebulon.
Second.
Motion's been made, second. Other comments or discussion?
I do actually. I'm sorry. If you're looking at this text amendment verbiage under 8, number 3, it says that a total square footage for all detached accessory structures shall not exceed 35% of the total amount of finished floor area in the principal structure. That doesn't say footprint.
I apologize, that should say footprint.
Okay, so how do we proceed?
You would
No,
have to.
I can do that procedurally. You said it was incorrect.
Correct, it should say footprint as opposed to
Will
footage.
you amend your motion for that, Glenn?
Yes.
And your second? Okay.
So that it will say
Footprint.
footprint? Okay, all right.
Right. Now, thank you. Anything else? All right. All in favor? And the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ordinance 2020-50, conduct of meeting times.
Me?
Gonna do that?
Yep,
Okay.
I'm going to do this one. So what we're asking is that we amend the Code of Ordinances, Section 30.23, that specifies the board will meet on the first Monday of each month, if that is a holiday, and then they are to meet the next day at 7 p.m. For the last 5 years, the first Monday has been, if the first Monday has been a holiday, the meeting has been scheduled for the following Monday or the previous Monday at 7 p.m. Scheduling meetings for the previous Monday or following Monday has made it a whole lot easier for the public, the board, and staff if they have chosen to take the Tuesday after the holiday off for vacation. The change would also allow for greater flexibility for the board to choose when they want to meet. It would also provide consistency for staff to put together the information, as well as for the public to know that Mondays are when the board has their regular board meetings. Currently, the ordinance specifies that you must schedule it for the next day. Staff is recommending that the ordinance be amended so that you can choose the date that you want to meet if Monday is a holiday versus it being on a Tuesday.
Okay. Question?
How is this creating greater consistency?
Because
Well, it's really creating more flexibility, I think, than consistency.
I think
But
over the
level
last
of
5 years, we've not followed what the current ordinance says.
Right.
We're just basically freeing it up so we can decide when the meeting's going to be if it falls on a holiday.
correct.
Or put another way, if the holiday falls on a Monday, you're supposed to meet the following Monday, but we've not been doing that.
No,
Previous
no.
boards.
No, we're supposed to meet the
They choose
Tuesday,
supposed
the
to meet
next
following
day.
Tuesday, so
Following
it would be the
Tuesday.
Tuesday
I'm sorry,
after
the
the
following
holiday.
Tuesday.
Okay.
But the board has not followed that and picked another date.
This just allows us the flexibility to pick the date.
And you could pick any day. It wouldn't have to be a Monday. But
Okay.
that is what we have consistently done with the schedule so that our meetings, our regular board meetings are on Mondays.
Okay.
You okay? Shannon?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Other questions? What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion, we adopt ordinance 2020-50 to amend section 30.23 to allow for the Board of Commissioners to choose the date and time of meetings if they should fall on a holiday.
Second.
Motion made, and second. All in favor? All right, thank you. Okay, the next item was pulled from the consent agenda, was ordinance 2020-44, a budget amendment for appropriating funds for police and fire off-duty employment reimbursement. Bobby?
Okay. Yeah, what this budget adjustment does is basically recognizes revenue received from these local businesses that off-duty police and fire work has been completed at. Basically, we pay the person for off-duty work, and then the business that hired them for that off-duty work reimburses us. So this is just kind of an accounting cleanup budget ordinance.
And so what happens with the taxes? How are taxes taken out? Is that on the town, that town's responsibility to do that, or with the business that is hiring?
They're basically just, it's basically a wash. What we pay, we charge, what the rate we charge the business covers taxes and retirement that we're paying for them. So it's really just a wash.
Okay.
What we pay out for that work is being reimbursed to us by that place that hires them for the off-duty work.
Okay. And then that's just included in with their regular, or do they get a separate?
It's included in their like normal pay.
Okay.
Like their paycheck. It's done at the same time as their normal paycheck is done. It's just an additional amount. But whatever that amount is, we fully get reimbursed.
Okay.
So we're not out any additional money for paying. We're not paying for somebody for a food line to hire off-duty police officer for security. We're not paying anything for that, essentially.
Right. Okay. Great. Thanks, Bobby.
Okay, other question?
Yeah, I noticed in your calculations you don't include medical, which is correct, but a question why you don't include vehicle expense, especially for like a Mudcat Stadium, we have multiple vehicles involved that are burning gasoline, wear and tear, and it seems like there ought to be a different rate structure if the off-duty officer is using the city vehicle, where all we're doing is labor. So it seems like we want to factor in a vehicle expense.
Yeah. We haven't really done that in the past, like I said. That's something we could visit in the future. Not sure how we might calculate a rate, but maybe an hourly rate that we might come up with.
I'm thinking even some type of an hourly rate.
Yeah, I think
that the
that's-
vehicle's there, if there's a vehicle there, but I think in most cases, they're going to take their vehicle to the job, so to speak.
Right. Yeah. We have not done that in the past.
Yeah, something maybe we can consider.
Okay, other comments?
I agree with Larry. I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve ordinance 2020-44, the,
Second.
Motion's made, second. Other comments or discussion? All in favor? Thank you. All right, now we have board comments. So Larry, let's start with you tonight. Any comments?
On
Board comments.
board comments, first of all, I'd like to thank the planning board for a simple solution to kind of a complicated problem on the signage. I think that was an excellent solution.
Okay. Beth?
I don't have anything.
John?
I would once again just like to thank everybody in Zebulon, staff, as well as citizens for just being awesome through this weird and difficult time that we're going through. So thanks, Zebulon.
Okay, Glenn? All right, Joe, manager's report.
Just a couple of things. Just let everyone know in the community that Town Hall is still closed. We're getting closer. And then we also have increased staffing on our police shifts here recently, so just make everyone aware of that. And then the second thing is I need to recognize Bobby for some intra-departmental budget adjustments.
Thank you, Joe. These are some more similar to last time, just some cleanup stuff, moving some money from some lines that are in the hole or close to in the hole as we get toward year end. In the governing body, we moved $2,800 from group insurance, $100 of that to FICA, $1,900 to materials and supplies, and $800 to elections. In finance, moved $1,000 from insurance and bonds to retiree insurance. In buildings and grounds, moved $5,000 from contract services janitorial to Wakeland utilities. And police moved $5,000 from group insurance to salaries and overtime. And fire moved $4,000 from insurance and bonds, $2,000 of that to uniforms, and $2,000 to materials and supplies. Streets moved $5,000 from snow and ice materials to electricity. In Parks and Recreation, moved $2,400 from part-time salaries, farmers market to part-time salaries, admin. Moved $1,500 from equipment maintenance to vehicle maintenance. Moved $5,000 from part-time salaries, parks maintenance, $4,500 of that to grounds maintenance, and $500 of that to contract services. That's it for now.
Okay, thank you.
And last thing, work session number 1 on the budget is next Wednesday, not Wednesday of this week, but the following week, June 10th at 7 o'clock. And we'll be covering the topics about walkability, which is specifically sidewalk project. We've got several community and economic development projects that will bring the details before this board. And we'll also bring before you several details on several property management projects. Anyone who would like to submit a public input project or public input comment is free to do so. Submit directly to the town clerk, Lisa Markland. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you, folks. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're adjourned.